Hello friends, welcome to the financial modeling and corporate valuation of Idea Cellular. Before we go on to start with the financials of the company, let's first do the industry overview of Idea Cellular, which is basically the Indian telecommunications sector. So let's have a look at how this sector has been performing and what are the opportunities for this sector ahead, which will basically define the growth for Idea Cellular as well. First of all, let's begin with a short introduction of this sector. India has the world's second largest telecommunications network. It has a subscriber base of nearly 900 million. This figure is basically at the end of financial year 13, which has made India the second largest telecommunication network in the world. With almost 164 million internet subscriptions, India has stood third highest in terms of total internet users. Also, the mobile-based internet is a key component of the Indian internet usage, as it is almost 7 out of 8 users who access internet from their mobile phones. So this forms the major chunk of the telecom industry. The urban tele-density is continuously increasing, which was up by almost 88%, and in case of rural it was up by approximately 15%. So the penetration rate is continuously rising for the telecommunication sector. By teledensity, the meaning of teledensity is that it is the number of telephone connections for every 100 individuals. So that teledensity is continuously increasing for the Indian telecommunications sector. Availability of affordable smartphones and lower rates are expected to drive growth in the Indian telecommunication industry. Also, it is likely to contribute, the sector is likely to contribute $400 million to the country's GDP. And according to the Director General of Special Mobile Association, this telecommunication sector has the potential to generate about 4.1 million additional jobs by 2020. Let's now look at the market structure of the Indian telecommunications sector. It includes the wireless sector, which is the mobile wireless. This means it basically comprises of establishments that operate and maintain switching and transmission facilities to provide direct communications via airwaves. Okay. Next is the fixed line wireline segment. The first we saw was wireless. This is wireline. The basic difference between wireless and wireline is that in wireline they provide it through landlines, microwaves, and a combination of landlines and satellite link-ups. So basically they both include establishments that operate and maintain switching and transmission facilities. For wireless it is through airwaves, and for wireline it is through landlines, microwave, or a combination of landlines and satellite link-ups. The last is the internet services. This basically includes the internet service providers that offer broadband internet connections through consumer and corporate channels. So this is basically the market structure of the Indian telecommunication sector, which has three main segments: the mobile wireless, the fixed line wireline, and the internet services. Let's look at the composition of the telephone subscribers in this market structure. If you look at this pie diagram in front of you, it majorly includes the wireless segment. The wireless segment basically dominates the telecommunication market, where urban regions account for almost 61% of the telecom subscriptions, and the remaining is for the rural areas. So wireless is the dominant part as compared to the wireline. After looking at the market structure, let's move on and see the advantages of the telecommunication sector. What are the major strengths of this sector? First is attractive opportunities. The telecom penetration in the rural markets is expected to increase to 70% by 2017 compared to the 41% as of March 2013. So it is expected to see almost a growth of 30% in 4 years period, which is huge. So there are great opportunities for the companies in this sector. Next is government support. Government has been proactive in its efforts to transform India into a global telecom hub. It has made certain prudent regulations to support the telecommunication sector, which has helped a lot. Also, looking at the National Telecom Policy 2012, it has basically proposed the licensing and free roaming, which is again a great advantage to this sector. Next is the increasing demand. As we already discussed, India is world's second largest telecom market with almost 898 million subscribers. So the demand is continuously increasing. Also, with 70% of the population which stays in rural areas, it is going to be the key growth area in the future years. That potential is still untapped, the rural market. So there's a huge potential to increasing demand. Next is high ratings. India has a very strong telecommunication infrastructure. In telecom ratings, India ranks ahead of its peers in West and Asia. So that is also a huge advantage for the sectors. So basically these are the 4 main advantages or strengths of the Indian telecommunication market. Let's now move ahead and look at some of the key highlights of how this sector has performed through the years. Very first is the growth in the subscriber base. India's telephone subscriber base has expanded at a CAGR of almost 36% from financial year 7 to 12. What do you mean by CAGR? CAGR is basically the compound annual growth rate, which is basically the year-on-year growth rate over a period of time. So that has been 36% from 7 to 12. That's huge growth. In March 2013, the total telephone subscriptions stood at almost 900 million and the tele density was 73.3. I'd like to repeat what is tele density. It is the number of telephone connections for every 100 individuals. So it was 73.3 up till March 2013, a huge number. So great growth in subscriber base. Next, a highlight is the wireless and wireline revenue, which has been increasing. The Indian telecom sector revenue grew by almost 13% to $64 billion in financial year 12. The wireless and wireline revenue increased at a CAGR of 10.4% from 6 to 13. So growth of around 10% through the years. The next highlight is the rising per capita income. The rising income has fueled the demand for telecommunication sector. It has been a key determinant for the demand growth in this sector. Strong income growth is set to continue. According to IMF, the forecast indicate that a CAGR of almost 5.7% of the income growth is expected from 13 to 18. So this is a huge potential, again a great indicator of increase in the subscription ahead. Another highlight of the telecommunication sector is the foreign investment which has been flowing in. A lot of mergers and acquisitions have taken place in the recent years. It has been majorly possible because of the government support. If you look at the numbers, the telecommunication industry has attracted foreign direct investments worth $59,000 million between April 2000 to January 2014. It saw an increase of 6% to the total FDI inflows, and this data was provided by the Industrial Policy and Promotion Department. So basically a very positive sign. FDI inflows is a great boost to the country's GDP. So in return, it's going to help the growth of telecommunication sector ahead. So with this, we have now seen the key highlights of the telecommunication sector. Let's move on to the market players.